For years, I thought mental health was something I could just push through, a problem for other people, a weakness. I was dead wrong. And ignoring it almost cost me everything. Ignoring it cost me my closest relationships, my career, and damn near cost me myself. The price of ignoring your mental health is always too high, and you're not the only one who pays it. Everyone around you does too. This is the unfiltered story of hitting my rock bottom and the actual practical steps I took to climb back. If you're feeling overwhelmed, unheard, or just stuck under a dark cloud you can't seem to shake, this is the story I wish someone had told me. But don't worry, this isn't just a sad story. It's the opposite. Sometimes hitting rock bottom is the best thing that can happen. It's the solid ground you need to finally push off from. So, if you're ready, let's talk about the descent. It didn't happen overnight. It never does. It was a slow fade, a gradual turning down of the volume on my own life. It started small. That hobby I loved? No energy for it anymore. Friends would call, and I'd let it go to voicemail, promising myself I'd call back when I felt more like me. The problem was, me was becoming a total stranger. At work, my performance started to slide. I'd always taken so much pride in my work, but now I was just going through the motions. My mind was a constant fog of anxiety and self-doubt. My productivity plummeted, replaced by presenteeism. I was there in body, but my mind was a million miles away, trapped in a loop of worry. This is a massive issue globally. Untreated depression and anxiety cost the world economy over $1 trillion a year in lost productivity. But at the time, I just thought I was lazy, a failure. I was living with what I can only describe as a constant low-grade dread. It felt like background static running in my brain all day, every day. I was irritable. I'd snap at my partner over nothing. I'd cancel plans last minute. Every single social interaction felt like a monumental effort. I was withdrawing, building a wall around myself brick by brick, not even realizing I was the one holding the trowel. The internal monologue was brutal. Just get over it. Everyone feels like this sometimes. Stop being so dramatic. The stigma around mental health is a powerful silencer. I genuinely believed that asking for help was a sign of weakness, a personal failing. So I didn't. I just kept pushing, pretending everything was fine, while my world was crumbling from the inside out. My relationships became strained. The people I loved tried to reach out, but I pushed them away. How could they understand what was happening in my head when I didn't get it myself? I felt completely and utterly alone, even when I was in a room full of people who cared. It was a dark, lonely valley, and I couldn't see a single path out. There's a point you reach where the mask becomes too heavy to hold up. For me, it wasn't some dramatic movie-style breakdown. It was quiet. It was mundane. And it was terrifying. I was sitting in my car in a grocery store parking lot. I'd been there for 45 minutes, physically unable to get out. The simple task of buying milk felt as overwhelming as climbing a mountain. My phone buzzed. My sister, for the third time that day. I looked at her name on the screen, and instead of love, I felt a wave of shame so deep it stole my breath. I had become a ghost in my own life, a walking collection of broken promises and ignored phone calls. Staring at the steering wheel, it finally hit me. Pushing through wasn't working. It was breaking me. It had hollowed me out, leaving nothing but exhaustion and fear. I realized I had two choices. Let this darkness swallow me whole, or, for the first time ever, admit I needed help. It's a terrifying thing to say, even to yourself. But in that car, in that moment of total stillness, I whispered it into the silence. I can't do this anymore. I need help. That was my rock bottom. Not a scream, but a whisper. And it was the most honest, bravest thing I had said in years. That was the turn. Because acknowledging the problem, truly and deeply, is the first and most critical step toward healing. So, how do you start climbing back when you feel like you're at the bottom of a well? You look up and find a hand to help pull you out. For me, that meant seeking professional help. Saying I need help is a powerful first step, but the next one is actually reaching out. And that can be the hardest part. Stigma is real, and it can be tough to even know where to start. But there are resources. There are people trained to give you the tools you need. Finding a therapist was the first rung on the ladder back to myself. It's not a magic fix, but it's a start. It's a structured, safe space to untangle the knots in your head. And that brings me to the most important part of this story, the toolkit for the climb. Getting back on your feet after burnout and a mental health crisis isn't a single event. It's a process of building a personal toolkit. It's a continuous journey. There's no one-size-fits-all solution, but here are the core tools that help me build a more resilient foundation. First up, and for me, the most important was therapy. Talking to a professional helped me understand the why behind my feelings. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy are designed to help you identify and challenge the negative thought patterns that keep you stuck. For the first time, I learned that my thoughts weren't facts. They were just thoughts, and I could change my relationship with them. My therapist didn't hand me the answers. She gave me the flashlight to find them myself. The second tool was creating a routine of non-negotiable self-care. And I'm not talking about bubble baths and face masks, though those are nice. I'm talking about the fundamental daily practices that regulate your mind and body. For me, this included movement. I started with just a 10-minute walk every day. No phone, just me and the pavement. Physical activity is a powerful mood booster, and it doesn't have to be a punishing gym session. Journaling. At the end of each day, I'd do a brain dump, writing down everything on my mind. The good, the bad, the ugly. It gets the static out of your head and onto the page, which creates distance and perspective. Mindfulness. I started with just 2 minutes of guided meditation a day, focusing on my breath. It's a simple practice that helps pull you out of worries about the past or future and into the present moment. The third tool was setting boundaries. Burnout often happens when we say yes to everything until we stretch ourselves so thin that we snap. I learned to say no. I learned to protect my energy. This meant leaving work at work, turning off notifications, and being honest with myself and others about what I could handle. Setting a boundary is a profound act of self-respect. And finally, the fourth tool was reconnecting with my people. I started small. I called my sister back. I explained honestly what had been going on. Sharing your story with people you trust dismantles the shame that thrives in silence. Your support system is crucial. They can hold you accountable and remind you that you're not in this fight alone. My journey isn't over. Healing isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. There are still hard days. There are still moments where the old static tries to creep back in. But the difference is, now I have my toolkit. I know the warning signs. I know what to do to take care of myself. And I know that asking for help is the ultimate sign of strength. Ignoring my mental health almost cost me everything. Prioritizing it gave me my life back. If you are in that dark valley right now, please hear this. You are not alone, and it is absolutely possible to feel better. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a hell of a lot of courage, but you are worth the effort. Your story doesn't have to end in the valley. I've shared the tools that help me, but everyone's journey is different. I'd love to build a community right here in the comments. What are some of the tools in your mental health toolkit? Sharing your experience could be the light someone else needs to find their own way.